What
Do
do we
we
all?
want to talk about the end, or do you?
We'll
Okay.
do a quick rapid fire. Some of the characters that we haven't been able to talk about too much. Anybody's thoughts on Rhodey?
Um, uh,
I like. I
yeah,
think.
he's
I think he had
Rhodey.
a what?
Said, yeah, he's Rhodey.
He's ready. Um,
Uh,
I think he got. I think he got a lot of good moments in this movie. I feel like it's tough because there's so many things that need to happen in this movie that you do. I do want more like Rhodey, like things that really involve Rhodey. But I liked his adventure, his time part of the time heist. I love the fact when he was that he like dragged himself when he couldn't walk, and his moment of
yep.
like talking to, I think it was Nebula,
It was Nebula. They were talking about, being, crippled and
and
how
like
they've
just
been through that before.
half machine. And I thought that was like a really good moment. And then of course
You know
with
what I
the
did like about the whole Rhodey thing was he had like 3 different suits throughout that movie. It's
oh yeah,
cool to see that on someone else rather than Tony.
yeah, it's
Like,
really good.
rather than wait for a whole new movie to see Rhodey in something new. Like, he had a variety. It was cool.
Yeah, it's really great. Yeah, I think he had 3 suits. I think he had the 4, 5, Mark 4, 5, and 6.
Uh-huh.
But I just at the very end when after Tony snaps and the first person like, up there, talking to Tony is Rhodey, and I thought that was like super
Mhm.
super super like awesome for them to have that moment and for them to be like for the directing just to not forget that that's an important moment that should happen, and then
Yes.
continuing and doing Spider-Man and Pepper Potts having their
Pepper.
moments with him as well. I think that's like they did that part perfectly.
Yes, exactly.
Thoughts on Rocket Raccoon?
Um,
I
I
liked his pep
definitely
talk.
liked the role that he had. Yeah,
I liked
he
his
had a
pep
good
talk to
pep talk.
Thor. I liked his
Oh yeah,
emotional
that's a
scene.
good pep talk. They
I
team up good. Him and Thor have a good
Chemistry together.
dynamic. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And I liked when he protected the Groot from the airstrike. Oh, that was good.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That was good.
I love Rocket, man.
Nebula.
What?
Did everyone like Nebula in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, she actually had a really dynamic role, and between Nebula and the past Nebula, it was awesome.
It really worked, and I think it's good because her character is tough because she's so kind of, I guess, weird is a good way of putting it. But I love the part where him and or Tony and Nebula are playing paper football, and she's just like,
Dude.
and she's such a child about it.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. That was neat.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man,
He had
definitely one of the coolest roles in this
He
movie.
had a really big role. Like they really put him up there. Like
oh yeah.
Everybody loves Paul Rudd, man.
I thought he
gotta
fucking
give him
I
the
thought
love.
he fucking died when the missiles struck the base because he's like, I think we did
Oh,
it. I think we
yeah.
did. And like the missile hits him point blank. Apparently he
had
shrunk
it,
down
yeah.
at that point, but it was just like, holy cow. Like I thought he fucking died.
yeah.
That would have sucked.
His moment with
Indeed.
Cassie though was just
Oh,
like
she's all grown up. Oh,
heart-wrenching. It was like nice, but it like hurt, and it was just like, oh god. It was good though. I liked it.
It was
Yeah.
really good scene. There was actually people crying in my theater, like relatively close to me during that scene.
There was a lot of points where I was like kind of welling up, and it was like rough, like the Hawkeye bit in the beginning, the Ant-Man bit, the Black Widow bit. The
Yeah.
the Peter Parker and Tony Stark bit.
We're not getting into that one just yet, but oh my
Oh.
god, that was the moment. Okay. What did we
Um,
all think of Captain Marvel in this movie?
I was gonna open that question to. I was actually gonna say, like the entire woman presence.
Yeah. There. Well, we can get to that when we get to the.
True.
I have thoughts. I have thoughts on this. I
Okay.
liked because there's it's not, we don't need to hide the fact that Captain Marvel and Brie Larson and the whole thing has had controversy on the internet what I'm going to call salty virgins, who hate the fact that Brie Larson has independent thoughts and opinions about how things should be. I liked Captain Marvel. I didn't think it was like one of the top tier Marvel movies, but
It was a good movie.
there's lots
I
to
enjoyed
enjoy. I don't like the fact that they did a amnesia thing, because it really hurt Captain Marvel being able to be the high points of her
Oh,
character for so long.
did they do that? I didn't see Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah. The start of the movie is her having amnesia, not knowing like who she is, and the
Where
problem
she's
with that is
from.
it makes her character dynamic with the world around her very specifically focused towards that, and only towards the very end of the movie, when she's more like has more of a presence in the world around her, does her character really shine. And I thought that hurt the movie because it
It's like
really,
holding it back.
yeah, it had held her character back, because when her character is actually there, it's great. And especially in Endgame, I fucking loved Captain Marvel in this movie.
Yeah, no. Captain Marvel in this movie was, dude, the scene where she just flies through the ship.
Oh my
Yep.
god.
Just
Like
then she
you think
obliterates it.
everything's done when the airstrike's hitting, and all of a sudden just like just straight through it. Like it was a great scene.
Another one of those like the genius writing this movie, where you just barely at some point you just forget Captain Marvel kind of exists. Who just dropped?
Uh, Joey.
Joey just dropped. You just kind of forget Captain Marvel exists in this movie after she leaves in the beginning, and you're just like, and for me, when the missiles are the airstrike is happening, and there's the big glowing thing in the sky, I'm like, wait, what's up there? Who the heck would that even be? And I think about it, and then it finally clicks, and it's like, oh fucking shit, holy shit! And then she blows up the goddamn ship, and it's fucking amazing. And then she drops in. And I was telling Joey about this area, so he and I have already discussed this. She drops in on little Spider-Man in a crater, all hauled up, having a little panic attack. He's like, and he's doing this. He did the same thing he does with every character he meets in this movie. He introduces himself like the polite little boy he is, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Peter Parker," and Captain Marvel just looks at him like he's this adorable little child. And she's just like, "Hi, Peter Parker. Do you have something for me?" And takes the gauntlet and does her thing, and is the best Brie Larson or like the best best Brie Larson moment I've ever seen in the MCU so far. I love that scene. Let's talk about the scene with Peter Parker. Joey.
By the way, is there more Spider-Man movies in like following this story? Is there already some that are gonna happen?
Funny you ask, because there's one coming out in 2 months.
Called Far From Home.
Oh shit!
That's
This
the
is my 70% coming out.
dude. You got to get on board the whole 100% thing. Once you
No,
start seeing
after-
everything, it's like, oh my god.
Well, Endgame really did it for me because I was like, I had some questions about some characters, and I was like, you know what? Like Captain Marvel, perfect example. Like, I had some questions. I mean, I know a little bit of her backstory, that she's like a female, like military fighter jet pilot.
She's a female military fighter jet.
she is the fighter jet. She's a transformer.
She's basically like just one of like the most. She's what's described as the most powerful hero in the MCU. She's basically about as powerful as Thor when Thor is at his peak. Which I don't think Thor was at his peak in this movie, because he was kind of held back by his being fat. I think he was more powerful at the end of Infinity War. But that also might be because Thanos was going all out in this movie versus Infinity War. He was just kind of holding back.
What does the scouter say about his power level?
Well, it's he's got it's 6. He's got 6 stones. Ooh.
You know who else has 6 stones?
Who?
Iron Man.
Iron Man. Also Hulk.
Also Hulk.
So yeah, Captain Marvel's awesome in this movie. Let's see. I guess we'll talk about Tony Stark and his final movie here. I love Iron Man. He's my favorite MCU hero, and I think that while I never want to be in an MCU world without him. I think this was just like the perfect send off
I agree.
to like the hero of the MCU, and the fact that Pepper comes in the end, she's just like, Tony, you can rest now. It's just like, oh god,
Aww.
it's very sad. It's very bittersweet, but it's just like
I have something I want to butt in while it's still fresh in my head. I hope you don't mind, but
go for it.
this is about Doctor Strange, and you remember how they said, how many possibilities are there that we can actually beat Thanos? That entire thing.
Yes.
Throughout the movie, Tony Stark's asking him, like, is this gonna work out? Is this gonna work out? And he just kind of like hushes him up, and he just kind of stays quiet.
He
And
only
like,
asked him once.
I think he asked him twice actually.
Once.
Was it
And he
once?
said, if I tell you, it won't happen.
Well, I mean, that's obviously why he said it. But I thought it was just like, I just think the whole dynamic. I was appreciating the whole Doctor Strange Iron Man dynamic, and I wish it could have went on longer. But obviously, the movie had to come to the unfortunate end it did. I just want to make the Doctor Strange side.
No,
note.
I love that pair up happened in Infinity War. I thought that was a perfect pair up.
Yep.
Pair
I
up.
think during the movie, I instantly had it in my head that while he's sitting there, about to die, I had in my head that Doctor Strange was going to come up, grab the time stone, and time stone Tony back to normal. And it didn't happen. And then eventually, after the movie finished, I figured out in my head that if they had done that,
The snap would have been reversed as well.
the snap would have been reversed. Yeah, and I wish my brain didn't think that during the moment, because it affected the
You
moment.
got let down.
Well, yeah, because to me, hanging on. I wish I was just able to just go in there being like, yeah,
That's
like
his favorite hero back.
You're
like-
holding on to Tony Stark because you had your hopes up still. You're like, there's
yeah.
hope, there's hope.
I thought like, oh yeah, obviously he can do this, but then it just didn't happen. When I go to see that movie again, I'm gonna fucking lose it because when I know it's gonna happen, it's kind of like because I got spoiled for episode 7, when Star Wars episode 7 when spoiler if you haven't seen Star Wars episode 7.
Dude.
Pause. When Kylo kills Han Solo. Like, I got that spoiled for me. And when I first saw that movie, like, because I knew Han Solo was gonna die, there was no question in my head. There was no me trying to deny that what was about to happen. I just knew it was gonna happen, and it fucking hurt me like a truck. That was hard.
Yeah, it sucked.
So the spoiler almost, in fact, made it better in a way. It was weird. It's a weird
You knew
thing.
it was coming. That's why you were able to
'Cause you were certain.
soften the blow.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
But fuck people who spoil things. That's just garbage. When I watched
Yeah.
Infinity War the second time, oh my god, Spider-Man hurt so bad.
Ah.
But I could see why you felt that way about Tony Stark at the end. Like you weren't given the full emotion because you got caught up thinking it might be something else.
Yeah, like because when it's 100% certain this is it right here, it's just like there's no denying it. That's when it kind of hits you a lot more.
Mm-hmm. But I mean,
It's
if
just
he
that-
was to go out anyway, that was it. And this is how he goes out in the comic too.
Does he?
Facts. Yes.
Which one?
Oh my god, I can't tell you the exact name. I'll
You're
do
talking
my
about
side research.
Infinity War?
What? No, I'm talking about Endgame.
Endgame isn't a comic.
No. I'm saying that's how Iron Man dies in the comics.
I haven't heard of that one before. Because I know
I'll show you.
I know in
I'll show you.
Infinity
I'll show
War,
you.
the Infinity War comics, I know Nebula is the one who undoes it.
I will show you right now.
Okay. Well, he's looking that up. Where else can we go? Oh, do we want to talk about that the girl power moment?
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. I um I heard a few things about that. Like people were like, "Oh, like they shouldn't have." I heard a few comments actually, just looking online afterwards, that people didn't actually like that.
There's a lot
But
of, like, your old salty virgins
mhm,
complaining, oh, it's cheesy, oh, it's corny, oh, it's just way too on the nose, blah 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 blah. For me, when I saw that moment and I saw like, oh, they're doing the girl thing again with I guess at that time there were only five like girls on the screen, but then as the camera panned out and there was like 12 of them by the end of it, I was just like, holy shit, there are a lot of girls in this movie. They've really come a long way since just having Black Widow, who's not even here right now.
for real.
Is crazy. And here's the thing: regardless of whether or not me, 25-year-old white dude slash Asian, uh, like cares about this scene, you look at all like the pictures of on the internet of like girls dressed up in like the young girls dressed up in Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman costumes, and even some dressed up as some of the characters from Black Panther. Like you see all that shit, and then like you see how like they're all so happy that like they get movies like this now. It's just like, who the fuck cares like about, not my opinion, but like people with similar complexions as me complaining about these kinds of things, because it's like that moment there, every little girl who watches this movie probably sees that moment and is like, oh my god, that was the best thing ever. Like he's probably really excited to see that kind of moment, and that makes it way worth more than, breaking some salty virgin's immersion for this movie, right? Am I right?
Yeah, I agree.
It's an important moment to have those kind of things for, you know, people other than just, let's face it, the three of us.
Right.
It's like how, I mean, it's like how excited, um, America's black community was when Black Panther came out, and I'm sure, worldwide, but I didn't see as much from worldwide as it was. Like how much like excitement black communities had over this movie, and like how there were actors from the movie and like famous people who were like were or were buying full theaters full of the movie just to take people from more underprivileged communities to be able to go see this movie. Like these things are like super important to be able to like have these moments.
Right.
There's Joe Spiel. Dylan, did you find the comic thing yet?
Yes, so in the comic book titled Infinity Gauntlet, Tony Stark dies from he dies from what's her name? Taraxia. She
Traxia.
rips his beheads him in with Thanos.
Who's Taraxia?
She is like the Terraxia. But she's like bad, obviously.
Oh, I see who this person is. This is a weird like
It's almost like a female Thanos.
creation from of Thanos when she was rejected by death.
Mm-hmm.
This the design of this character from and the fact that this was a 90s character. That's so weird looking.
Isn't it?
Yeah. But to what I was saying, I thought you meant that the snap and doing that thing was how Tony died in Infinity War
Oh,
of
no.
of the
My
Infinity War
apologies.
comic line.
No, my apologies. The Infinity Gauntlet is the actual comic.
Well, it's a different comic.
Right, right.
I think Joey dropped again.
Okay, so what else?
is there anything else about the movie that we should? Oh, we were talking about the women,
I just went into my spiel about that.
right? But what's your final judgment on it? Like, I appreciated it.
Oh, yeah, I liked it. I liked it myself. Well, when it was just like when it felt like it was almost just going to be the same thing, but like two more of them, I'm like, okay, did fine, sure, whatever. But then when it panned out and there was like 12 of them, I was just like, oh, this is way better than the first one.
Yeah,
I was like,
definitely.
that's actually really good. That's actually really cool. They had like so many of them, showing like the growth of the MCU as like a more mature, more diverse like group of heroes. But yeah,
Joey,
Yeah.
what do you think of the girls scene
It was really
represented?
cool. Very, very awesome. I am a fan of feminism, so
You
Cool.
feminist.
I would say that I don't think they can do it a third time. I think that would be a little pushing it. I think that
this is it.
if they're gonna that they should have the balls to just do a female Avengers movie basically, and not just do another like, hey, we have our little moment.
Dude, that would be crazy.
Right.
Just fucking just do it. Who cares? Do it. Do it, you
But
cowards.
if they did a male one, that would be sexist.
Right.
I mean, that was Avengers basically.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, no, I'm not mad they did the second time. I mean, I would say they could.
I 100% understand you.
I mean, there's obviously a huge male presence, so they had to represent, you know. And it wasn't longer drawn out. It was epic, and it was the final battle, so they had to. I think it was appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, the whole movie was just full of just fan service moments. And I think that's a good thing for this movie.
Let's talk about that final scene though. Right before Thanos,
Oh, when Thanos,
wanted.
I just want to point out when Thanos headbutts Captain Marvel and she doesn't fucking flinch. So good. I love it.
Oh.
But then they did a good job with the power scaling there, where Thanos takes the Power Stone out of the gauntlet and punches her like into oblivion. So
Okay. Fucking Iron Man is a sneaky. Okay, was it that Iron Man? Oh, in order to use the Infinity Gauntlet, do you have to collect the stones?
Yes.
Or is that why it didn't work when Thanos snapped? Or
No,
was it because
there were no
Iron Man
stones
took
in-
them?
there was
Thanos had
no
no stones in
he didn't
his.
have any stones in there.
I thought the gauntlet had the stones on it.
He took them.
Did, and then Iron Man swiped them.
Right. But what my thought was, so if Thanos didn't snap, right? Because what my thought was, he snapped, it didn't work because he didn't collect them, and then Iron Man took them. Or did Iron Man take them before he was able to snap?
Iron Man had like tackled Thanos at some point and like wrestled with the gauntlet, and because
And
the gauntlet,
merged
I
them
think it's
into
because
his
the gauntlet
suit.
was made of like
Because of
nanobots.
his technology. Yeah.
He like was able to get them off really easily.
Yeah.
And then he was able to do his thing, which I fucking predicted that Tony would get the gauntlet. I
Which
predicted it.
he did not do in the comics, by the way.
Right. But the thing is that's weird about it, it was the wrong hand, and I don't understand why it wasn't his left hand.
He's right-handed. Thanos is left-handed.
Yeah, but the whole MCU has been alluding to things happening with his left arm, but it was his right arm that got blown to bits.
What if that was like a troll on like Disney's side of it? They're like, you know what?
I mean,
They
this was
want the left,
pre-Disney.
but we're giving it-
This was pre-Disney.
Yeah, I guess you're right. You are right.
It's so weird. Because I swear, the first shot of the entire MCU is Tony's left arm.
It's okay. He's Tony fucking Stark. He can get any arm he wants.
It's true. Well, no, he can't because he's dead.
Well, yeah, but his suit could.
Oh, okay. Let's real quick. Let's get into the final battle. Cap fucking says, "Avengers assemble." He finally does it, and it's so goddamn cool because he's all alone, facing down the entire army, and he gets up. He fucking grabs the broken ass shield, puts it on. He's bloodied. He's beaten, and he fucking tightens the strap. And he's like, "I'm gonna get one more. Like, I don't care." I can do this all day.
Dude, that was just like I feel like the entire movie basis was like, okay, this failed, we're gonna do this. Okay, this failed, we're gonna do this. Okay, this failed, we're gonna do this. But like that single scene of him failing and being beat down, and then he picks himself up, and then like he says assemble, and there's like everyone's there. That was like the highlight of the movie for me.
It's
If
so good.
if I had to go back to like a 5 minute segment that just like blew my mind away, it was probably that.
It,
That's probably my number one.
yeah, it's another one of those moments where it's like they did the snap what was probably like 20 minutes ago, and you knew it worked because of the phone call Clint got, and you just kind of forget about it. They kind of put it away for a little bit. They're like, just forget about that. Don't worry about that for right now. And then when the perfect moment for it to happen, Falcon comes in, reference to Winter Soldier. He's like, on your left, Cap, and who walks out but none other than Black Panther? I mean, okay, sure, yeah, awesome. I'm just saying it's weird that Black Panther showed up before Falcon in that scene, but that's fine.
Oh, when Falcon said on your left, yeah, I loved that.
Yeah, and then they do the whole thing. And here's the thing: if you're someone who's upset about the women moment in Endgame, and if you showed any emotion to the slow shot of Star-Lord coming out of the portal and lifting off his mask like, I'm here, guys, it's me, Star-Lord, you can all cheer now, and then another slow shot of Peter Parker coming in. He's like, I'm here too, I'm saved, I'm Peter Parker. If you had any emotion and enjoyed that scene, then you're a hypocrite. Facts. Right there. If you enjoyed the Peter Parker scene of like, it's Peter Parker, guys, he's saved, then you're a hypocrite if you're saying that the women's scene was bad.
But
it's the same goddamn thing.
True.
But
that scene was awesome.
that
you can't deny it. That scene was.
I was so like, what's a good expression? Like
in awe.
I was just like, yeah, fuck yeah. and then Spider-Man finally like meets up with Tony Stark, and he's like, oh, I got snapped, but then I'm here, and it's like, and then
He just gives him the hug.
He just hugs him, and I lose it. I just start crying, and he's like, oh, this is nice, and then like something funny happened, and I could literally see myself just like crying and like laughing, like,
Jesus Christ!
It was so good.
Wait, so did you actually cry during the movie? Like tears rolling?
Tears don't really come out of my eyes when I like.
You were choking up though.
Cry up, but like that was me. Like that was me at an emotional peak.
Dude, that scene was really powerful.
It was good shit. Like God, they did it so well.
And he doesn't have a what's his name? Oh, I'm gonna kill it. Grandpa. What's Peter Parker's grandpa?
Uncle Ben.
His Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben.
His
70% baby. 70% baby. That's a passing grade.
Dylan. Actually, he actually does have a grandpa. His grandpa's name is DeCow.
Oh my god.
Oh shit. Okay. Anyways, Uncle Ben.
He does.
He
but they've never.
He fills that role of Uncle Ben.
100%. 100%.
He fills that role.
100%. He does have an uncle, but it's not really shown because they kind of wanted to just get Spider-Man rolling without doing the whole like Uncle Ben thing again.
Yeah.
Because they've done that to death now. To death.
but they definitely built that like a really good relationship with that, and I appreciated that.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. And I'm sure that'll be a critical point with Far From Home. Shout out to Pepper Potts finally coming in and with the rescue suit on and doing the back-to-back team up with Tony Stark in that final fight.
Yeah, it was pretty badass.
That was awesome.
It a lot.
Like when she lands and everyone's just like, "Whoa, what is that?" And then she lifts off the mountain and everyone's like, "Yeah, finally!" Like, so many awesome little moments that don't even need to happen. Like, does Pepper Potts really need to come in there and join that fight? Was she really thinking, I gotta put on the suit and come over and help them fight? Because she's never done that before. And why hasn't Tony built her a suit before? He's had so many moments in which Pepper having a suit would have been helpful, but it's just like, It's like, who cares? It's so awesome.
Right.
What else here?
Do you guys want to talk about after the whole fight scene's over, and then it kind of it takes the path from there?
Like
Or
where,
anything else that,
like the end of the end of the movie?
yeah. Do we have
Um,
anything else about the battle we want to discuss?
do you know who that Dylan? Let me ask you this: do you know who that kid was at the funeral that was just standing there by himself, further in the back? Do you remember that?
What funeral? When they're in for Iron Man at the end?
Yeah, when they're kind of panning through all the different characters from the MCU. There was just
Are
one
you
kid.
talking about?
There was a kid standing by himself.
I'm trying to think. Oh! You mean like when they're on the dock and then it pans towards the house?
Yeah.
I don't recall remembering who it was, so no, maybe it just didn't impact me the way it is. But can I make a guess?
Go for it.
His son?
No.
I don't know.
That is that is the kid that helps Tony out in Iron Man 3. His name is Harley.
Oh!
And he pimps out his garage at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Oh shit! I didn't realize that. Oh, my mind's blown.
It's a subtle ass cameo, but it's so cool that they brought that back.
Yo, I remember that.
If I was that kid and I got that call being like, "Hey, you want to be in Endgame for like 5 seconds?" I'd be, "Fuck yeah, I want to be in Endgame for 5 seconds." I don't think that picked up on my mic, but I'm sure it picked up in the actual recording.
That was a little glitchy for me.
Sorry.
I didn't hear it either.
I'm sure it picked up in the actual recording. Oh, maybe I'll just repeat myself. Fine. If I was that kid, after doing Iron Man 3 and I got the phone call asking to be in Endgame for 5 seconds, I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, I'll be in Endgame for 5 seconds."
Oh hell yeah, dude! Of course you have to do it.
So for the last part of this podcast, I just wanted to get into where does the MCU go from here? Because I have some theories. I talked about Loki, and the Loki series and how that starts off, and as well as Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will probably feature Thor, and we probably won't have a Thor 4, but it'll probably be just Thor in Guardians 3 as his sort of like.
I think, but that would be enough, honestly.
Oh, for sure. You can't. If you're gonna have Guardians of the Galaxy 3 with Thor, he's gonna be a big fucking player in that movie.
Yeah.
Dude, the whole fucking bit when they get onto the ship and they're like, who's the captain?
You are. Of course you are.
Of course you are. But you said of course, and then you touched the map. No.
It's you.
Captain.
You're the captain.
Of course.
Of course.
Dude, I was just like dying. That was the best. That was a good scene.
Some other little
But
threads.
Hold on. Let me just say really quick though. I hope that dynamic they build. It seems like it's almost going to be like a healthy competitive environment, and I think that would be a fun dynamic between them two.
Little buddy cop.
Yeah.
Some other threads that kind of popped up around Endgame.
I hope Star-Lord is going to be like a lot more gangster in the next few movies.
Explain.
Just more Star-Lord.
Just more Star-Lord. Yeah, like he's going to have his time.
Well, Guardians 2
Guardians 2 is a lot of him.
was basically like his big movie.
True. But
He was a god too. That's the thing.
I feel like he's not but I feel like he's not as strong as like the other Avengers. Like I feel like
Because now he's just a human.
Well, yeah, in Guardians 2 he like got rid of his powers basically, but if he had his powers, he would probably be as powerful as Thor.
He could very well be as powerful as Captain Marvel.
Possibly.
Wait, but when does that take place in regards to Endgame?
Way before. Actually, not way before, but like a good amount of time before.
Because if they went back to the past,
2015, so like 4 years before maybe.
So 3 years.
Okay, but if they went back in the past, shouldn't he be like stronger?
No, because that the stuff they did in the past was in Guardians 1. The events of Guardians 2 weren't changed at all.
Okay.
So more little tidbits. Obviously, there is going to be an upcoming Black Widow movie in Phase 4. So whether or not that's a movie about the past, I think they'll probably be about Budapest, that Clint and Natasha, their little inside joke. Finally, you can't hide from Joe. I will be part of that inside joke eventually.
He needs every ounce of lore.
I need to be everywhere. I kind of hope that there's more of a present day storyline involved in that, like something having to do with like that it's not just a prequel movie. I kind of want more of like a sequel, but still having flashbacks in the past. Red Skull does say the name of her father, and she makes a point to say that she doesn't know who that is. So I think all those little things are things that are going to be talked about in the movie. But I do want there to be more than just a prequel that just tells you who Black Widow is, because I think that'd just be kind of lame and not as exciting as something, what actually happens to her in the Soul Stone. Maybe the end of that movie. Maybe the movie ends with a blinding white light, and you just see Captain America coming in to like bring her out of the Soul Stone, something like that. Who knows?
The new solution to the problem is just going to be Captain Marvel.
Because it's gonna be what?
It's going to be Captain Marvel.
He said
She's
Captain
America.
I know, but I'm saying Captain Marvel. She's going to be the future of the MCU.
They're kind of setting it up to be.
But they're also branching off to a new Captain America as well.
It's true, and that leads us to Falcon and Winter Soldier, the new Disney Plus series, which will obviously talk about.
Oh, that's a thing.
Yep, it's the first one that's coming out in this fall.
70%, baby.
Well, I mean that's.
You know what?
Hasn't happened yet. It's not even part of your percentage.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the 70% because I don't want to say I know, because we have some tryhards in the group. But
let's do some of Joe's gatekeeping now. Dylan, what is the actor's name who plays the Ancient One from Doctor Strange? Your correct answer is Tilda Swinton. If you didn't know that, fuck off. You can't see this movie.
Dude, you sound like you're 5.
Dylan, why was there a weird helmet on Hank Pym's desk when they went back to the 70s? The answer is because that's the original Ant-Man helmet. Didn't you know? Why did Captain Marvel say, "Rhodey, are you be careful," when they were in the weird hologram thing? It's because they had a relationship in the comics, so it's kind of a reference to that.
Joe, why are the Avengers called the Avengers?
Because they avenge the ones who fall.
Because
No.
Captain Marvel's name in the military was the Avenger.
And it was given by
Who was it given by?
Nick Fury.
Incorrect.
Who was it given by?
It was just her nickname in the military.
Right, but he was the one that took that nickname and then put it on their group.
The Avengers Initiative.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Joe's thinking you asked who gave her that nickname.
Oh, my bad. Well, you kind of know what I meant to say after I said the.
We didn't. Okay, anyway, moving on.
Joey explained it perfectly.
No, because we figured it out after you explained yourself. Anyway, so the Falcon and Winter Soldier series is probably going to be about Falcon proving to himself that he can be Captain America. Hawkeye series on Disney Plus will probably be about the stuff that he did as Ronin, which will be very interesting. I also think that the events... I kind of thought it was kind of weird that they hung on to that fight in Tokyo for so long against that random Yakuza guy. Apparently he is an actual character in MCU, like he's part of like the Yakuza of the MCU, which is,
Yep, but now he did.
But I always felt like it was kind of weird that they hung on that fight and gave that guy so much dialogue. It's just kind of weird. And I think that has to, and even though it's Japanese versus Chinese, I think that has to do with, is going to have to do with the upcoming Shang-Chi movie.
Ah.
That's my very, very grasping at straws theory. With the age gap of Ant-Man's daughter Cassie in this movie, she can finally be Ant-Man's partner, which is something that she alluded to in Ant-Man 2. So maybe Ant-Man 3 will be called Ant-Man, the Wasp, and the Stinger.
Ant-Man, the Wasp, and the Larva.
Larva. In the end of the movie, Hulk and Wanda talk about the people that they've lost in this whole thing, and Wanda has a upcoming series called WandaVision, which will probably be about her trying to bring back Vision, which is a reference to the comic books in which Vision tries to bring back Wanda, and it may end up leading into X-Men potentially, because Wanda is technically supposed to be a mutant.
Yes, as was Quicksilver. But Quicksilver's got his old thing, and the whole X-Men movie's going, so it's all good.
I mean, the X-Men movies are done, though.
Huh?
The X-Men movies are done after Apocalypse, or not Apocalypse.
After Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix, which, whew, I wonder how that's gonna.
Oh my god.
Wonder how that's gonna go.
I was kind of crossing my fingers that they previously recorded a Deadpool part in this movie.
There's no way.
I was like, Deadpool. No Deadpool.
No Deadpool.
I didn't have high hopes.
In the beginning of the movie, when Widow is talking to the 4 hologram people, which was Rocket, Rhodey, Carol, and I always forget how to pronounce her name, but is it Okoye?
Okoye.
Yeah. She mentions underwater earthquakes around Wakanda. And they have this funny exchange about how, like, they make it seem like the only reason they're mentioning it is because Widow is so, like, obsessed with trying to, like, do Avengers stuff and try to, like, keep things normal and, like, distract herself. And right. Okoye just says, like, we don't have to do anything about it. It's fine. There's nothing wrong. But maybe, just maybe, it's a allusion to possibly Black Panther 2 or another movie starring the Submariner Namor. Because in Iron Man 2, Tony and Nick Fury are having a conversation, and on the board behind them you can see a map of all different locations in which there are potential enhanced individuals that they may want to recruit. One of which is the location of Wakanda. The other of which is a dot in the middle of the ocean. What could that be? Atlantis, motherfuckers.
Submariner.
The Submariner. He's coming. And I think that's going to be the plot of Black Panther 2. Next is... Let me try to think for a second. I have a whole list of things. Where do we want to go with this? There is a... Like I already mentioned Loki, right? Yeah. There is a What If series coming out for MCU, which is just What If one-shots that are animated. One of which is what if Peggy Carter became Captain America or got the super soldier serum. So that'll be interesting to watch, and I would like to see...
You know what? That sounds like a very popular series. If there's anything I love in the comics, it's What Ifs.
Yeah, those are
always awesome.
Those are really, really fun to watch. And the last thing, and this is going to be a little bit lengthy, sorry, is Spider-Man Far From Home. Because a lot of people seem to not be very excited for this movie, but I feel like a lot of people should be very excited for this movie. Because if y'all remember, Homecoming was a great fucking movie. And this is still the MCU. And this is still Tom Holland. So this is going to be another great movie. Homecoming's entire thing was about how the villain was dealing with the events of the Avengers. And how the events of Avengers 1 affected him and made him into the villain he was. And it was a very good motivation for the character. No doubt that a movie like Spider-Man taking place after Endgame is going to directly tie in with the effects of Endgame and how that affected people on a smaller scale. I believe Mysterio survived the snap, and his transformation into Mysterio was a result of his 5 years dealing with a post-snap society. And, furthermore, Peter's dynamic is going to be him dealing with Iron Man as well as coming into a world that's 5 years later. In the trailer, you see Peter getting his passport, and when you look at the passport, there are no years on that passport. It's all hidden because they didn't want to spoil the fact that it takes place in 2023.
I see. That's
Furthermore, based on the trailer, and you see 4 of his classmates from Homecoming, which is the blonde girl, Ned, MJ, and what do I want to say? Chad. Flash.
Wow.
As the same age and still in Peter's class, implying that they also got snapped. The thing about that is that the other people in Peter's class are all people who are 5 years younger than Peter before he got snapped. So, it could be very interesting who is now old enough to be in the same class as Peter, as well as the fact that during the 5 years of a post-snap society, there was surely to be a lot of economic breakdown in terms of who has power and who does not. Perhaps one Norman Osborn could have taken advantage of a post-snap society, rose to power, made his billions, and developed the Oscorp that we know from Spider-Man. And very much so, perhaps, that Harry Osborn could now be the same age as Peter Parker and in his class. What do you think of that, Joey?
Oh my god, you just went deeper.
This is deep. This is deep lore here. Because how did they introduce the Normans, or not the Normans, the Osborns into the series?
I don't know, man. You're digging a huge tunnel here.
I would just like to point out that in the trailer for Far From Home, there's a kid that has a speaking line in that trailer. And that kid looks like he could be a fucking Harry Osborn. Look at that kid. He's to the left of Flash at the very end of the trailer. He's talking about how Mysterio is a cross between Thor and Iron Man. I think that kid is fucking Harry Osborn. I think he is. Also,
You want to say it one more time, nice and clear?
That kid is Harry Osborn.
It's here first. You've heard it. Very first on the Need a Bone podcast.
Making a prediction. I also think that, well, not think, but I just want to point out. Oh, I remember the last little thing the last little thread that I wanted to talk about. Donald Glover's character in Homecoming is that of the Prowler. The same Prowler you would be able to see in Spider-Man first. Not the same character, not the same exact character, but the same. Like
Miles'
Prowler?
Miles' uncle. Do you remember Prowler in Spider-Verse?
The purple-looking Deadpool motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I can describe it.
Miles' uncle. Donald Glover plays that character in Homecoming. Not the Prowler, but the character who's supposed to become the Prowler. And what better reason for him to need to take up the mantle as Prowler than a post-snap society?
Jesus Christ, Joe. There's not going to be like 6 or 7 villains in this movie. I can tell you that.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they're setting up shit. There's links, there's threads here that they could be setting up here. And the fact that Miles, whatever, they never mentioned how old Miles was, the only fact that he was young. But if he's 5 years older,
be around that age.
Maybe he can start being another Spider-Man.
That might be the case for him. As far as Terry goes, I'm sure he's already in their same age group. That's how it's always been with him and Peter.
But true. I mean, but they could take some creative liberties. I mean, MJ is fucking Zendaya.
Yeah.
That's a different MJ. The last little thread I wanted to talk about is the fact that because Doctor Strange no longer has the Time Stone, what the fuck is stopping Dormammu from coming back and engulfing the Earth? And with that, that is all the time we have for this podcast. I think we went 2 hours, didn't we?
Oh, something like that.
Oh, but it was so fun, right, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, there were good highlights.
It was good talk, good discussion. Maybe we'll do a part 1 and part 2.
Ooh.
Yay. Easier
Part
content
2.
for me. Alrighty.
Talk about Infinity Cast, and then we'll release Talk About End Cast.
End cast. The end of the cast.
Yes.
So, if you're just joining in on us now, I don't know why you'd be just joining in now, but if you're just joining in on our channel now,
If you're one of those weird people that like scroll to video,
Skips all the way to the end.
just wants the post-credits scene. We are Team Need a Bone. We do YouTube videos here on channel Bander SN. That's me. We do a bunch of cool little series, one of which is our top 5 Smash Bros. Custom stages of the week. Smash 3.0 is recently being released, and we are hard at work making fun custom map stages to play on, as well as sharing the community's best custom stages. If you are interested in checking that out, it's in the channel and probably maybe flashed up on the screen right now. If you have stages you want to submit from us, please leave a comment in that video as well. That'd be awesome. We also do cool series like Denter Theater, which is a show that me and my friend Trevor do, where we play games and try to be funny. Try, maybe succeed sometimes. And we also do another podcast called the Smash and Chat Power Hour, which is a 1-hour podcast about Smash Bros. And things that happen in Smash Bros. We're probably going to do one about 3.0 soon, so be sure to stick around for that. This guy over here named Dylan and myself, we do a series called Midnight Minecraft, which is a relaxing series where we just play a little Minecraft. Very simple, very easy to follow, very easy to digest. And am I missing anything, guys? Am I plugging correctly?
Plug perfect.
Did I get everything? Okay. Oh, awesome. Thanks for all watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one. I think our next topic is probably going to be E3. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll do something. Goodbye, guys. I've been Joe.
Bye.
Love y'all.